Hi guys, I've got a quiet house, the cat's been fed, so let's do some coding. What we're going to do is create this responsive navigation bar along the top of the browser on the right hand side, and you can see as I sort of narrow the browser, then we get the hamburger effect, and if we click the hamburger then the navigation pops out from the left hand side. So that's what we're going to code. Coming over to blank browser file. It's running on my local server, and on the left hand side I've got three files open. I've got HTML skeleton here, and just follow me through. If you haven't got the HTML file ready to go yet, just pause the video and copy what you see on the screen. The other two files I've got both linked. There's the CSS easing nav.css file, which is completely blank at the moment, and the script file with we're just going to have a tiny bit of JavaScript to make that button work, and the JavaScript file is currently empty, so we're going to do everything from scratch, which is really cool. So first things first, within the body tags I'm going to create a nav tag. By the way, I'm using VS Code, which is probably the best coding tool on the web, and it just makes life so much easier. So I've created the nav tags. What do I want in it? Initially, I'm going to have a P tag. I'm just going to write logo. Normally you'd have an image there, but P tag with logo will do for our purposes. And then for the links, I'm going to create a unordered list with the UL tag, and then I'm going to create 4 LI tags for list items. Okay, so there's 4. And a bit of magic with VS Code is press or click Option and Shift, and then drag down, and then effectively I can write code on 3 lines all at once. href. I just had a brain fart. Is it equals? I can't remember. And then I'm going to put the hashtag in there, and then VS Code closes off the A tag, so that's cool. So I think on most websites it's got a home page, then an about, and then perhaps what the services have been on offer, and then a contact page for getting in touch. So that's a unordered list with 4 UL tags. I'm going to hit save there and see what happens. So we've got the logo just in a sort of P tag. We've got the 4 links, and then again within the UL tag, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div called Hamburger. If I could spell hamburger in public, that would be great. Darn, just having a bit of a faff. There we go. Now, you know, I've seen people use icons. I've seen people use SVGs. I'm just going to create 3 divs here, each called burger. Each with a class of burger, and I'm just going to copy that 3 times. And what we'll do is style those burger classes in a bit. So click Option Shift, drag on down, and I'm going to give each one of those a number. So you can see burger underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3, and that's all we need for our navigation. Nav tag, logo, links, and some sort of hamburger. You can play around with icons and whatnot, but I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to hit save, and the piece on the right hand side of the browser automatically refreshes every time I click save, but you can't see the hamburger yet, basically because I haven't added any styling. So let's go over to the CSS file, and first I'm going to go over the whole of the document and, oops, and go box sizing, border box, and then onto the body. I'm going to give the body a margin of 0 throughout, like so. Let's choose a nice font family instead of Times New Roman. So font family will go Arial for now, and we'll go font size. I'm going to use 1.2 REM. REM, by the way, is a relative. Each of the browsers has got sort of a standard size, which I understand is 16, so 1.2 is 1.2 times 16, whatever that is. I'm not going to do hard sums in public. So that's the body tag. I'm going to hit save, and you can see things have changed. And by the way, I'm making it look big on the browser. If I come down to 100%, that's how big it will look. Okay, so I'm just going to go big so that you guys can see it. Right, okay, so let's style the navigation, and there's no dot or octothorpe because we're going direct on the nav tag. So I'm going to give it a background color. Let's go orange this time, and I'm just going to type in orange. I don't know what the hex code is for orange, and then let's give it a color of white, and I will go octothorpe FFF for white, and let's just save that and see what it looks like. So that's looking nice. We've got logo. In fact, it's like a darker color really. Let's go to maroon. Okay, now that blue on maroon looks yuck, but we can style that in a moment. Okay. Right, so the next thing to do is add the sort of left and right. Obviously, I want all the links off on the right hand side, so let's use flex. So I'm going to display flex. Now flex already comes, or the default is flex row, or flex direction is row, so I'm going to hit save there, and you can see that the navbar jumped up a bit, and I'm going to use justify content and go space between, and I'm going to hit save, and hopefully you'll see that the these links are all shift over on the right hand side. Okay, so they haven't gone all the way to the right because why do you think that is? I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, well, if we go back to our HTML, we've also got in our nav area, which is the bit we're styling right now, we've got this Hamburger div. Now, of course, we can't see that yet, and so it must be over on the right-hand side. Okay, so let's just prove the point. So the div was called Hamburger. So if we go .hamburger, and let's give it a background color of white, so we can just see where it is at the minute. And if I just hit save, where is it? Come on. Okay, so let's give the burger. Oopsie, let's go to a new line. .burger. Don't forget, each one of those was the individual lines. So if I give it a height of say 3 pixels and background color white, let's just copy that, Command C and V, and if it's got a height, I'm going to go width as well. Do you know when I'm using widths and all that, I don't know why it is, I hate using odd numbers. So height, I might go 3 or 4 in a minute. Sorry, 2 or 4, just see what it looks like. And why isn't that showing? Is that background color? So let's go color white. It's still not showing a little double. If I do that and save, okay, it's been a bit pesky. Right, anyway, the first thing, let's come back to the Hamburger afterwards. But in order to get these links off on the right hand side, what we need to do is display the Hamburger as nothing at all, so none, and hit save, and there we go. Those are the links over on the left. Okay, so let's style those links. I'll come back to the Hamburger afterwards, and in fact, let's put a note down here. Okay, so the nav. So first with the nav, what we're going to do is grab the whole list itself. Yeah, bearing in mind it's vertical at the minute and we want it horizontal. So if we go nav ul and let's call it display flex and hit save, and there we can see that everything is horizontal now. And now let's sort of code or style each of the links. So nav ul li, and let's get rid of those bullets first. List style type is none. Hit save, and what you can just about see. Let's do this font now. I'm just guessing whether this will turn white if I go color white. I don't think it will because they are links. So I'll just hit save, and that hasn't worked. So let's do the links next. Nav ul lia and color white. And there we go, we have color white. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that line saying color white. Now it all looks a bit yucky at the minute, basically because they're all smashed together. So going up to the LIs, I'm going to give them a margin 0 top and bottom, and let's go 16 pixels left and right. So that's pushed them out a bit, so that's looking nice. And now what I want to do is get rid of that underline. Now we all know from the web that underline is on the links. So coming back down to the link area, we can go text decoration none, not 9, none. And hit save, and those have those underlines have now disappeared. So that's nice. In fact, let's give those it's on the each of the links a pointer of cursor. And what was it? Cursor pointer. CSS, don't you just love it? Cursor pointer, and hit save. And then, of course, when we come over, we get this little hand appear over the link. So, that's looking nice. Let's just open up the browser, and we can see that the logo is sort of smashed up on the left-hand side. So let's just go for, I'm going to come under the body. I'm going to call it, all I've got is one P tag for now. So I'll go on the P tag and give it a margin left of, let's go 16 pixels, because I do like the number 16. It's a magic number, you know. If anybody plays darts, you'll know that if you get start from 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 0. So it's a winning number, 16. And on the browser, you can see that the logo has been sort of pushed off to the left. So so far, so good. That's all looking nice. Okay, let's go back to that Hamburger thing. So before we've had it display none, and let's just get rid of that. In fact, what I must do, otherwise I'm going to get an error here. Let's go color white. That's cool. So where is it? Have a look at the top right hand corner up here. Top right hand corner of the browser, just where the warning of an update is required. So you can see that sort of little white area up there. So that's the Hamburger. So I need to do some bits and pieces yet. So underneath I've got on the CSS I've got .burger, the burger class. But what I haven't done is given the burger bars a margin, and I need to do that. And let's go 2 pixels top and bottom, and 0 left and right. So let's have a look how that looks. And there we can see that you can see the burger things creating. So I've just gone 6 margin, and really we want it further down from the top. So that's the Hamburger itself. It's not the individual lines. So let's copy the margin into the Hamburger, and let's this is a guess at 12 pixels. Oh, that was not too bad. So if we look at that, it's pretty good, top and bottom. But we want to push it to the right a bit. So let's go. So that's top right 16 pixels. Then bottom is 0. Top right, bottom left. Let's go 0 for that, and we can see now the Hamburger thing has been pushed in. So that's nice. Everything's looking good. But you know, when I'm coding, I'm always doing this sort of pushing the sort of browser left and right, basically because I'm expecting it to be responsive, and of course I'm thinking, why is that going wrong? It's because I haven't done anything with the responsiveness yet. So what we need to do is go for a media setting. So I always have to go to the internet for this one. So media query mobile, and all I'm looking for really is the top line. So I just grab the top line from anywhere. To be honest with you, that's CSS. Was it W3 schools? So now below the burger, what I'm going to do is create the media file, and when the screen is of a certain width, I want that the burger bar to appear. So first of all, I'm wanting the Hamburger to be display none initially. So display none, like so, and it's disappeared. However, when I want it on a small screen, I want it to display block. Okay, so there we go. Let's save that and let's see what happens. So if we're big screen, there's no Hamburger. If we go small screen, there is a Hamburger. But notice the Hamburger's there, but the nav links are still there, which is what we don't want. So which bit is it? Well, it's the nav UL. Let's grab that from the top, and nav UL display none, like so. And guess what? It's disappeared. So big screen, got the links. Small screen, got the Hamburger. Big links, big screen, small screen. But of course, if we click on the Hamburger right now, which is what I'm doing, nothing's happening because we don't have any JavaScript appearing. Now, what we do need to do, however, is code what we want the nav link to look like when we do click on that link. Okay, so if a little bit later when we click on the button, we want the navigation to slide out from the left-hand side. So what we need to do now is create the navigation links to be on the left-hand side, but we'll have it on screen for now. So the nav UL, I'm going to sort of cancel display none, and I'm going to, oops, what's happened there? So just get rid of that. So position, and I'm going to go absolute. So we've got real control over this, and from the top, I'm guessing about, let's go 10 pixels for now, and a height of 100%, because I want the whole thing to be on the whole page. So 100%, and I'm going to hit save and see what happens. Okay, so all the bits and pieces are along the top still. So I want the links to be vertical, so I'm going to display flex, and rather than the default, I want the flex direction to be column, so everything's up and down, not left and right. So I'm hitting save, and you can see what's happening here. They've gone underneath each other. Let's it needs a background color, and we had maroon, so let's go maroon. Whoa. And I've just hit save, and you can see what's happened. Now, of course, what we've got is each of the links up and down, and you can see it's just over the logo thing. Now, what we could do is have a bit more control over this. We could set the height of the original. I don't think we did set the height of the original nav. So if we've got that, that would be quite doable. So, oops daisy. So I'm up in the nav section here. I'll just highlight that. Up in the nav. Let's go. Let's give that section a height, and let's go 1.6 rem. See what that looks like. And, oh, that's far too small. So let's go 3 rem. See what that looks like. That's a bit better. I think I'm going to revert to pixels, to be honest with you. So let's go 60 pixels. Yeah, that looks okay. So I'm going to go, if that's 60 pixels, then if I scroll on down, the top of the links has got to be 60 pixels. Okay, it doesn't like that, so let's go 50. Go away, and let's go 50 pixels. Oh, let's go less, 40 pixels, and that looks okay. All right, so as you can see, when you're sort of dealing with up, down, left, right, you need to play around with the pixels a bit. Now, from my point of view, the links could come over to the left and also be spaced out a little bit. So let's add to the nav ULLI some sort of spacing, so margin, I'm going to go margin bottom and give them 12 pixels and see what that looks like. So that looks a bit better. And let's go margin top as well, actually, because top left and a 0. Okay, now the width of this area I don't particularly like, so that looks as if it was controlled by the left-right margin. So I'm going to give, let's see what padding does on the right. padding right, let's give it 12 pixels just to even things out. Let's go padding, it's a bit, let's go 24. That's not too bad. Let's go 36. Okay, that's satisfying my desire for pixels sort of left and right. Okay, so where are we now? So nav ul li, I've given it a margin top and bottom. We've given it a padding right of 36, which has pushed it all out. So everything is looking really good. However, what we don't want is this to be showing if the button hasn't been clicked, and we haven't done anything with that button yet, or the hamburger button. So the next thing we need to do is push the whole thing off screen. Okay, and we're going to do this gently. So we've got an absolute figure, we've got a top of 40, and now we're going to go left. We're going to use a minus figure. I'm going to demonstrate minus 100 for now. Yeah, and that's pixels, so I'm going to hit save, and you can see that it's pushed off to the left, but we've still got some more to go. Right? In fact, if the wider you go, it does go off screen, but we're a small screen now, so I'm going to go minus 200 just to be sure that it's gone. And sure enough, it has. Okay, so what we do need to remember is that 200 figure. So everything's looking tickety-boo so far. Okay, big screen, I've got the links. Small screen, I've got the hamburger. We click the hamburger, nothing happens. But what we want to do is have the links slide out from the left-hand side. So I guess that's the next thing to do. Okay, we're rocking and rolling now. So how are we going to get that thing to slide out? So what we need to do is go back to the nav and the UL, because we want the whole list to pop out, not individual list items. And we need to add a transform. In fact, let's see how this works. Transform. Now we want it to slide out. So translate. We want the translate X, so it pops out from the left to the right. And don't forget, we had it minus 200 pixels off to the left, so we want it to come back in at 200 pixels. So that's pretty neat. Now, some of you might be screaming at me because I think I've put this in the wrong place at the moment, so at least I've coded it. And further down, what I'm going to do, because I always get confused by this transition stuff, so I'm going to add a class called show nav. Okay, not vav, nav, show nav. Okay, and I think I've got it right. I'm going to put the transform translate into there, Command C for copy, and smash it into there. So apologies for putting it in the wrong place there. So I'll just leave you to sort of catch up. So I've created a new class called show nav on the unordered list. I put the transform translate X, which is the X-axis, 200 pixels, so that it would come in. Now on the UL, what I need to bob in there is transition. Okay, and it's right. Well, what are we going to transition? Well, we're going to transform. That's the thing we want to happen, and we want it to happen over, let's say, 0.5 seconds, and then let's have a ease situation going on. So if I just hit save, everything should be tickety-boo. Nothing's going to happen right now, basically, because we want that transition to happen when we click that burger bar. All right, so that's going to happen with a very smidgen of JavaScript, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay, before I go to the JavaScript file, I need to do one more thing, and that's in the HTML file. So with the unordered list, the UL tag, what I need to do is add an ID, and I'll just call it nav links. Okay, because effectively that's what they are. I'm going to copy that word nav links. Okay, so let's go to JavaScript. If you're learning CSS, you're probably not into JavaScript yet, but you know, I absolutely love JavaScript. You can do so much with it, and you know, we see the satellites going to the moon and whatnot, or satellites in space. Then I reckon a lot of them are powered by JavaScript. It's just amazing. So just follow me through. So what I've done here, I've created a variable called navlinks, and it's grabbing the ID of navlinks. The next thing I want to do is grab the class of Hamburger, which is going to be slightly different. So just to give you a bit of variety here, oops, equals document dot query selector. Oops. Dot query selector dot Hamburger. Okay, so what JavaScript is doing now is grabbing onto the class of Hamburger, and the class in the HTML of Hamburger is right here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, we've got our Hamburger over the top right hand of the browser, and it's called Hamburger in our JavaScript, and I'm going to add an event listener, which what we're doing is telling the code for listen for a user's, in this instance, a user's click on that hamburger. Okay, and this is making everything responsive now and dynamic, which is really cool. So I want something to happen. So in effect, I want a function to occur. Oopsie daisy. So I want a function to occur. And in this instance, what do we want? If I click on that hamburger, top right hand corner, what do we want to happen? Well, let's go over to the CSS. We want this to happen here, which is the show nav function. Sorry, the show nav class to be added. Okay, so I want what we want it to go on is onto the UL, which if we go over to the HTML, we've called navlinks. Okay, so I want navlinks dot class list. I don't just want to add it, I want to toggle it. And what did we call it in the CSS? We called it show nav, like so. Okay, so just a quick explanation. So we've got our hamburger, we're listening for a user to click on it, and if they do click on it, then the nav links will have the class of show nav toggled. So if I hit the button once, the thing will hopefully appear, and if I hit it twice, it will disappear. So now I'm coming over to the right hand side, top right. I'm going to go over to the hamburger. Let's just make sure I've refreshed the page, and I'll hit click. And all of a sudden, nothing happened. So I'm going to go to the inspection log, go to the console, and see what is going on, because everything should work. So hamburger, query selector, it's got the dot. This is called debugging, by the way. All right, so okay, up on the top left hand of my screen in VS Code, see the little blue icon here, saying there's two things that haven't been saved. So I'm going to save that one, save the HTML. I'm going to save the CSS. And I'm going to save the JavaScript. Okay, so hopefully now come over to my browser. If I hit click, yes, boom, and it's worked. So if I click it again, it'll disappear, and click, and click, and click, and click. So there we go. We've done our application. So we didn't have a navigation bar earlier. We do have now. Yes, it's coloured maroon. Indeed, what we could do, because when I showed you my demo, it was teal. So let's call that teal. I think I have another maroon in here. We'll call that teal. So we've gone teal now, so that it's starting out as the demonstration earlier. So if we go small on our screen, then we've got the hamburger, and then if we click the hamburger, we've got our navigation. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry about the little kerfuffle at the end, but it just goes to show that when something doesn't work, there's a little bug somewhere. We need to debug things. Okay, so there we go. And I promise you this works on certainly an iPhone and most likely an Android phone too. Hey, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed that, please hit like. If you want even more, hit subscribe and all the other business that happens on YouTube. Bless you. Thanks for watching. Cheers now. See you. Bye.